Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with me and with you guys as well. So today we're going to continue the Power Rule series, and we're going to be doing episode 5. And any one of you who is familiar with how my series videos are, episode 1 is gonna be like a major introduction. Episode 2 would be like a second unique example. Episode 3, a third unique example. So now we're in episode 5 of Power Rule series. We're gonna get the 5th unique example. So in this video, we're going to first of all do a good refresher of the power rule, the sum and the difference rule, and the constant multiplied by function occurrence. So if you've watched the first 4 episodes, this is just gonna be like the usual refresher I have in the beginning of my videos, so that every student that is coming newly can be on board and they can inshallah understand what I'm doing. Okay, so this is it. We have the Power Rule series is basically the Power Rule is basically a rule that we differentiate a variable that has a power. So whenever we have a power, we have a power on top of a variable. So we have x raised to the power of n. When we want to apply the power rule to this function x raised to the power n, we're going to differentiate x. X is the variable, so we're going to have to differentiate with respect to x. For example, if m was the variable, we would differentiate with respect to m. If L was the variable, we're going to differentiate with respect to L. If O was the variable, we're going to differentiate with respect to O. So it's basically, in this case, x is the variable, so we're differentiating with respect to x. And then the power in this rule is n. So n is power, and n is basically cannot equal 0. So x raised to the power of n, when we differentiate it and apply the power rule, we're going to get this. We're going to have the n, the power, to become the coefficient of the variable, so nx, and we're going to decrease that power by 1. So that will be n minus 1. So nx raised to the power of n minus 1. So that's it. And yeah, so that's just basically it. So now let's go to the sum and difference rule. The sum and difference rule is just sum/difference rule. This is when you have two sub-functions added, or two or more sub-functions added or subtracted from each other. So 2 or more sub-functions basically. But for the purpose of teaching it, we only just use 2 sub-functions. So we have f of x plus or minus g of x. What is this saying? It's trying to tell you that f of x is a sub-function added to g of x, another sub-function, or it's telling you that you can have f of x, right, minus g of x. So this plus or minus sign is not saying both plus and minus, is saying either plus or minus. So when you have 2 sub-functions like this, and by the way, they can be more than 2 sub-functions. You can have 3 sub-functions, 4 sub-functions, but the purpose of learning, many calculus professors, as well as what I'm doing, they just stick to 2 sub-functions. But if you have more than 2, you're going to just apply the same concept. So you have this, and then you differentiate f of x plus or minus g of x with respect to x. So what you end up with is going to be the derivative of f of x, right, plus the derivative of g of x. Or if in a case where what is in between the 2 sub-functions, in this case f of x and g of x, if it is minus, you then do or the derivative of f of x minus the derivative of g of x. So That is what is going on. So you see the both of them, that is really what is going on, you know. So the derivative of f of x plus the derivative of g of x, or the derivative of f of x minus the derivative of g of x. So that's just basically the part. Now let's go to the third one, which is the constant multiplied by the function. So if you're supposed to differentiate a constant k multiplied by f of x, whenever you're given a problem like this and you're told to differentiate it, just know that all you have to do is to bring out the constant. So we bring out k, and then we do the derivative of the function. So we do bring out the constant, and then we multiply that constant, right, by the derivative of the function. So even though the constant times the function is a function in itself, whenever you're applying a constant, whenever you're applying the differentiation rule to a function that contains a constant, you can just take out the constant, then you multiply that constant by the derivative of the function that does not include the constant. So that's basically, so this multiplied by d of dx of f of x, and yay, that's all it is. So those are the three things I want you guys to see. Then we're going to go, and if you guys know, this is literally like the 5th time I'm breaking that information down, because the more you see, the more you see, the more what they used to call it, the more you see, the more you can feel comfortable with what you're learning, inshallah. That's the goal. So that's it. Now let's do the problem we have. The problem we have is x cubed. So in question 5, the problem we have is x cubed multiplied by 4 minus 3x, and this is the function y of x. So we're given this function and we're supposed to apply power rule, right? We're supposed to apply power rule. So now you're like, dang, how do I apply power rule to this? Well, look no further, you're going to know. So you can see that we've talked about the three main. So we've talked about the power rule, the sum, the difference rule, and the constant multiplied by function differentiation occurrence. So now we can do it. So the first thing you have to do, since we have to apply the power rule, we have to put the function that we have, y of x, in a way. We have to make it end up looking in a way that we can apply three information, like the power rule, sum and difference, constant multiplied by function of occurrence. We have to apply it in a way, like all of those information, we have to apply it to the function. So we have to therefore make the function take the form that we can apply these various rules to. So we have x cubed multiplied by 4 minus 3x. The way you can get this done is, since x cubed is multiplied by 4 minus 3, so apply the power rule and sum and difference, sum plus difference rule. We cannot do it whenever there is a multiplication. When a function is composed of two sub-functions multiplied by each other, we can do it. X cubed is a sub-function, 4 minus 3x is a sub-function, but we can't do that because we're dealing with power rule, so we cannot have a multiplication of two sub-functions. So therefore we have to multiply through. So that's going to be x cubed will be multiplied by 4x. First of all, that will give us, so when we do x cubed multiplied by 4x, and then we do x cubed multiplied by 3x. So, sorry, x cubed multiplied by 4, and then x cubed multiplied by negative 3x. So what we end up with will be 4x cubed minus 3x to the 4th. So therefore our function becomes y of x equals 4x cubed minus 3x to the 4th. So now that we've done this, we can now simply apply the power rule to solve this. So the first thing we now do is we take the derivative of the function. So we have d of dx. Since x is a variable, we end up with 4x cubed minus 3x to the fourth. So you'll be wondering, how do you solve this? Now that we've done this, remember what I showed you in the sum and difference rule? The derivative of a function, two sum functions or two or more sub-functions that are added or subtracted from each other is the same thing as the derivative of the first sub-function plus, or in some cases minus, the derivative of the next sub-function plus, and in some cases minus, depending on what, either if it is plus or minus that is in between the two sub-functions. So we're going to apply the same thing here. So we're going to end up doing d of dx of the first sub-function. In this case, the sub-function is 4x cubed, right? And then we now go to the next one. Sorry, not the sub-function, the first term basically. And then we now do minus. Why do we have minus here? We have minus here because what is separating 4x cubed and 3x to the fourth is minus. So we now do the derivative of 3x to the fourth. Now that we've broken it down this way, guess what? We can apply the power rule. So remember the power rule. We're going to bring down the power to become the coefficient of the variable, and then we're going to decrease that power by 1. So therefore, but before we go ahead and do that, we can do something else. We have the constant, right? We have the constant multiplied by the function. So we can bring down the constant here. I'm going to do this now at the bottom. So we end up doing 4, which is the constant, multiplied by the derivative of the function, which is x cubed here, minus, we bring out the constant 3 times the derivative of x to the fourth. So x to the fourth. So now that we've done that, we end up with this. So we have 4. What is the derivative of x cubed? It's the same thing as bringing down the power down. So that will be 3x, and decreasing that power of 3 by 1. So 3 minus 1 will give you 2. There will be minus here. And then we have 3. What is the derivative of x to the fourth? X to the fourth. What is the derivative of x to the fourth? We're going to bring out 4 down. So bring out 4. Bring 4 down. And we're going to decrease the power of 4 by 1. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So 4x cubed. Inshallah. That's what we're doing. So that will be 4 times 3 is what? 12. So our answer is going to be 12x squared minus 3 times 4 is what? 12. 12 x cubed. So that will be 12x squared minus 12x cubed. That is exactly the answer to this question. And so when they ask you what's the derivative of x cubed multiplied by 4x, sorry, what's the derivative of x cubed multiplied in open brackets 4 minus 3x, the answer is just basically 12x squared minus 12x cubed, inshallah. So that is what it is. And yeah, that's basically it. So I hope everyone who has watched this video, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala barakah in your work. Ameen ya Rabb. Ameen, ameen, ameen. And I wish you guys all the very best. And I hope this video was easy for you to digest and understand. I would advise that you should watch the next video. It's a more complex question, but I made sure to break it down. I know this video was a little bit rushed, but I would advise that if you're struggling with whatever I've said, or the way I've said it that might be confusing, I would advise that you watch the video again, and then you should go ahead and do practice problems. And when you're done doing practice problems, you can use an online integrator, differentiation calculator. You know, if you go online and just Google differential calculator, you're going to see a bunch of them. And then when you do problems that are very similar to these ones that I've done, you can input it in differentiation calculator to see if you get the same answer. If you did get the same answer, then congratulations. What I've taught you, you understand. If you're still struggling with it, go back to your work and make sure that you've not done any of those like easy mistakes to miss, like putting a minus instead of a plus and all of that. Make sure you check your work to make sure that it still looks good, inshallah. So that's my advice for you guys. And hopefully this video is helpful. Please put your suggestions in the comment section. So I would like suggestions on more videos you want to see. My videos are like STEM and also advice videos for college students, as well as videos that would help you grow as a person, basically in your career, just basically a self-development and a STEM focused tutoring channel. So you guys should please subscribe, because subscribing is free and you're learning. Make sure you please like this video. It will help me with the algorithm, so you can see more videos. And make sure you click on the notification bell, because if you don't click on the notification bell, guess what? When next I make a video, you're not even gonna know that I made a video, and you're gonna be missing out on great content. If you would like me to be your personal tutor, you can email me at shuhabeetutoring@gmail.com. So email shuhabeetutoring@gmail.com for inquiries about being your personal tutor. And you can also go on IG, Instagram, and follow Muslima_tutoress. I have a Instagram channel and I post our Instagram page that I post updates about this channel, as well as quizzes. I put like 2 quizzes every single week that is basically science focused, and you guys can just put your answer in the comment section over on Instagram. So this is all I have for you guys today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala barakah for me and for you guys as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.